Hello, Snark Spy here, reporting in.
And here's the Spirit Man, the embracer of human good and analyst of fiction. And we've got the third episode of our Try to Recall SymphoGear series with the third season.
SymphoGear GX.
Because a G wasn't enough.
Yep.
Let's add an X to that. And that'll make it even more special.
Yep. So, without further ado, this is one of my favorite seasons, or at least it's one of my favorite starts to a season.
I haven't seen this season at all, or fourth season, so this will be interesting for me. Start.
So, the very first thing that you see in this season is a couple of astronauts re-entering orbit with the corpse of Mom, who had died last season.
Wow.
They have some trouble landing and are about to crash and die. Right? At this point, we see that at Chris using one of our attacks, launch them into space, so they can then save the spaceship. Attempting to slow it down ever so slightly so that no one dies. Right, then they can give Mom a proper funeral. In the course of his attempts to doing it, he punches K2, the second highest mountain in the world, shorter, and then suplexes the shuttle to make it dodge a bunch of a village that was going to crash into. Yeah, they didn't even handle with the thing, and it's at this point that we find out that Hibiki and friends have been living their peaceful lives at school, well, ever since they got rid of Solomon's cane in last season, in which apparently stopped all the noise. This, however, does not last long, as
Of course.
As in the first episode, we are introduced to our villain of this season, Carol, a young-looking girl who's the alchemist, is Lord of the Auto Scorers, and we're also introduced to our brand new turncoat for this season, Elf9.
Turncoat?
Well, yeah, basically the one that goes from one side to the other. We had Chris in the first season, and Shirabe, Kirika, and Maria in the second season. Yeah, Elf9 comes up in the very first episode of this season and says, I'm going to defect from the bad guy side, because I object to Carol's motivation for what she then describes as destroying the world. Because of some reason that we don't actually know at this point. Maria is then put into peril, having lost her gear, Gungnir last season. And essentially, having to be saved by Tsubasa against the green auto scorer, whom has a sword thingy. At which point we're then given in Chris a nice little thing where she saves Elf9, and in order to keep up with a cover, comes up with the extremely mimetic name Little Red Singing Hood. This is important because it is a thing that comes up later. So yeah, we find out that our main villains are Carol and the auto scorers which we find out are clockwork automation robots, that drain people's life force, or through kissing people.
Which one is this again?
Our villains for this thing, the auto scorers.
So is it one character or just a few characters or what?
We have Carol and her 4 auto scorers.
I've seen like little bits of this season and I do recollect that a bit.
Yeah, I know that there's Gary, Misha, who was the blue and red one, but I think that one of them was named Lair, but I can't remember if that's a green or yellow one. But yeah, their whole gimmick is they're all based on the 4 classic elements of mysticism: fire, water, wind, earth. With Carol's obviously heart.
Heart.
And we find out in this season that Carol has created her own noise, known as alkanoids, which breaks Chris's SymphoGear at which point the green auto score does the same with Tsubasa's. As Elf Knight explains that they decided to create that Carol is actually on the opposite side of Fine and created her weapons specifically to fight against Fine, causing Fine to, which means that SymphoGears are completely useless against the brand new alkanoids. So with Elf 9 then, and lets us know that there's an item known as Dine Life that will give them more power. And the ability to fight against the alkanoids without being destroyed. This takes a couple of episodes, and for the first half of the series, we are actually given in a bit where Hibiki is hesitant to fight. And so they decide to go on a beach trip where Hibiki then meets up with her missing father, right at this point, whom Hibiki has an exceptional grudge against. It's because she refers to him as the man who destroyed our family, because basically the stress of having a pariah as a daughter basically got to him, and he divorced with his mother to run away like the coward that he is. Yeah. You can guess why he's the least popular character in the entire season. And just from that.
Was just because of the horrible stuff he does?
I mean, by the fact that he basically left his wife and daughter to who take the brunt of Hibiki becoming a social pariah and almost antichrist. I mean, prior to that point, when he got into alcoholism and drunkenly, he beats them, but that's a minor detail that they don't actually go much into. He was in a bad place and ran away the first chance he got. Miku, knowing about this, it's very much does the supportive wife thing, because at this point they're basically a married. Hibiki and Miku are basically a married couple. With Miku even saying that she's not worried about Hibiki much anymore, or she's mostly worried about Hibiki being hungry when she gets home. So yeah, top tier wife.
Has Hibiki's mother even been in this show much?
Nope. It was established in season 1 that she actually lived away from her family, and we don't actually get the reasons why she lives away from her family, except during in season 2 and 3, where it's just like, oh hey, associating with Hibiki is something that caused the rest of her family to suffer. So Hibiki decided, you know what, I'm gonna live apart. Right, I'm gonna live with Miku, and we'll just us live together as a happy couple. Yeah. So Elf9, whom by Dear G's is one of the cutest little old defectors and homunculi I this side of whatever, or the second cutest is homunculus is gets to work implementing Dian's life, the demon slaying sword, into the SymphoGears. Here's in episode 6, after Hibiki got her butt kicked by Igari, he the fire SymphoGear, or fire auto scorer, whom is a smiling thing with gigantic claws. We're then, and we're actually in episode 6. It's revealed that Carol hates the world because they basically turned her father into a social pariah. Thus, he now relates to Carol on a very personal level, as both of them have problems with their fathers. At which point, Carol decides to bring out a brand new transformation sequence thing, a Faust robe, which is an alchemical knockoff of a SymphoGear that then transforms her 10-year-old body into a 20-year-old woman, because Carol is several hundred years old, and they wanted to make sure that that her lowly form is not the only form that she has. Yeah. And then in episode 6, they kill Carol.
What? What?
Yeah, they kill Carol in episode 6.
Well, who the hell's the villain now? Unless she comes back as a ghost, that causes shit to happen.
In episode 7, the auto scorers now are trying to get a reference material from and following Carol's old orders from back when she was alive, and thus the auto scorers are now the main villains. Ends up to this point. They go to an underground base. Jiraiya and Kirika have some tension between them, where Kirika wants to protect Jiraiya, but Jiraiya is the one with the shield. And they corner one of the auto scorers, and then dun da da da, Dr. Bear returns.
No.
Yep. Yeah.
Should have gone on for 4 minutes so we would have a commercial break.
So yeah, Dr. Bear shows up. Apparently he had been working on a drug that helps allow the former Fine girls to actually use their SymphoGears. So they kept him around. And now he's on the side of the auto scorers.
Of course.
The episode after this happens, Carol comes back in a new body, having basically revived herself.
Okay. Like a new body, a copy of her original body.
Yes.
Nothing else. No memories.
No, she still has all of her memories.
I mean, like her mind, her organs, whatever, get transferred into this copy.
Her soul basically gets dropped into this copy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so at this point, all of the characters all have special episode arcs where they fight against various hits of the auto scorers. Maria gets a brand new SymphoGear named Argetlime, which is a dagger and the one that our sister used, and she can turn her dagger into a whip sword. And then we actually find out another a bit of Kazunari trivia. Kazunari and Gendro aren't actually uncle and niece, but brother and sister. Because the man that we are introduced this season as Tsubasa's father is actually her older brother, and the man we were introduced as her grandfather was actually her father, having decided, I'm just going to make a brand new heir to the family and sleep with my son's wife to produce an heir. Yes.
Oh, fuck. Next thing you'll be telling me there's a cousin thing going on.
I don't get that reference.
Fucking animes where the cousin has
Oh, that one. Yeah, no. At this point, when they're basically shipping Tsubasa and Maria as a couple, also, and they have no blood relation. So yeah, no. Though technically, I guess, as both Kirika and Shirobei are the descendants of Fine, but at several hundred generations apart. So, that's not exactly that's technically not the big thing as you'd think. But yeah. After Tsubasa realizes, you know what? My sword doesn't actually have to be a sword. I can use them as wings and kills the green auto scorer, who had an ability that allowed her to basically break any sword that she fought against. Shirobei and Kirika beat Gari in an awesome fight. Chris fights against the yellow auto scorer, or who uses coins to shoot coins as projectiles. Which obviously means that she was going to do it. And then we find out about Carol's actual plan to destroy the world. She has a magical little mausoleum thing that will allow her to see the very root of all existence and dissect the entire world and just deconstruct the entire existence. Yeah. You can see why he's one of my favorite villains of this season. Yeah. And then, just to show, that Carol means business, she turns on Dr. Vare. Air stabbing him through the heart, betraying him, meaning that she's either American or this is one of the first seasons that we don't have the Americans screwing over someone.
That sounds like a satisfying moment, because I hate that fucking bastard.
Yeah. I mean, he gets something of a redemption thing before he dies, where he basically he tells everyone that, oh hey, I want to be a hero, and if the world gets destroyed, I can't be a hero, so I kind of slowed down her systems. Maria goes just like, you're a terrible person, but you did the right thing in the end. So I hate you, but you are definitely, but you did one good thing in your entire life. You would never be forgiven for what you've done. At the very least, you got on the right side in the end.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this is where the climax.
Yep, this is where the climax happens, and it's revealed that Carol's father never actually hated the world, and that Carol knew this, but is so driven by revenge, and that even with the fact that her powers literally take out her memories and makes her forget everything, she still survive. She still wants nothing more than revenge on the entirety of existence.
What a way to go.
Yeah. After all the Oscars are destroyed, she then reveals, oh yeah, that was my plan the entire time. Because I sent an Elf-9 to you who as a secret double agent, and in fact, I've been able to know exactly what you were doing because as Elf-9 is a perfect copy of me, so I can actually see through her eyes. Yeah, Elf-9 did not know about this, and was the very sweet angel that she is just like, oh no, I messed up. This climaxes in a scene where she saves one of the bridge crew of Song by pushing her out of the way of a falling debris, ending up impaled in the process. As the heroes fight against Carol, whom decided, you know what, I'm going to generate a bunch of power or to destroy the world. Well, I sure hope that one of the heroes doesn't have the ability to absorb the energy that I generate. He then goes, I can do that, and absorbs all the energy. After an awesome fight where Hibiki uses her final attack to transform from her regular sized fist into a gigantic fist, is to then punch Carol in the face. It's all the while a slight subplot where Hibiki's father feels bad for what he did and tries to make up for it. It's even saving Hibiki from one of Carol's attacks. The series seems to end with Elf-9 on her deathbed, and however, Carol comes in, dying, and you're just like, you know what? If one of us has to die, it would have to be the one that's a good guy. So I'm going to sacrifice myself to ensure that you actually live. I'm going to take your essence into my body, to heal us both, and make you the dominant personality of this body. Elf-9 is, and thus, Carol dies, sacrificing herself for Elf-9, and of course, the series somewhat ends with an ominous note saying that Carol had a benefactor, or she did before she split off from them. But who is this mysterious organization?
The benefactor.
In that she was once a part of. And with Dr. Bear dead, it appears that Elf-9 will have to try and decipher or his formula for the drugs that allow the former Fine girls to fight. Season ends on a cliffhanger. See you in season 4.
All right.
Well,
very, very good.
This has been Snark Spy signing off.
And Spearman sign off. Thanks for that enlightening summary of season 3, and we'll see you in the last Try to Recall video for the SymphoGear series until the current season 5. See ya.
See ya.